Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bosch. The number of clean diesel models in North America will double by 2014. Bosch Clean Diesel. Good, clean, fun. Bridgestone. Your journey, our passion. And by Dow Automotive Systems. Improving durability and increasing design flexibility with Betamate structural adhesives at dowbetamate.com.
Hi, I'm John McElroy, and this is Autoline Daily. Welcome to the newscast that covers the global automotive industry. Sergio Marchionne says he needs another car company to round out his Fiat Chrysler conglomerate, and Mazda says it needs another partner too. I mean, this is as easy to figure out as 1 + 1. In fact, Bloomberg reports that Marchionne is in talks with Mazda as well as Suzuki to see if they can hook up. Of course, Suzuki is already in a partnership with Volkswagen, but it wants a divorce so bad it's publicly throwing pots and pans and dishes at the German automaker. So far, VW has dodged the brickbats and is sticking with the status quo. And, you gotta wonder how interested Mazda really is in tying up with Fiat. It keeps saying that it's still looking for a partner. Last year, UAW President Bob King went apoplectic over Ford CEO Alan Mulally's huge stock bonus. He called it outrageous and morally wrong. Well, I hope Bob King is sitting down, because this year Alan is getting even more. How does $58 million in company stock sound to you? Of course, that also includes $23 million in taxes, which works out to a 40% tax rate. Maybe Alan ought to call Mitt Romney's tax accountant. But actually, Alan is doing just fine. In a new book called American Icon by Detroit News reporter Bryce Hoffman, he divulges that Ford recruited Mulally with a compensation package that could make him the first executive in the auto industry to earn $500 million in his career. And that ought to light up the Occupy Wall Street people. Of course, maybe the OWS crowd is having a bigger impact than we realized. Ferrari complains that the anti-rich campaign sweeping across Italy has hurt sales of the super expensive sports cars. Another reason is that authorities are raiding people who own luxury cars as part of a crackdown on tax evaders. But I wonder if it also has to do with the styling of their cars. To me, cars like the California, the FF, and the new Berlinetta look like caricatures of Ferraris. Somebody needs to shake up Pininfarina design and put it on track to lead the industry and not try to keep on reinventing the past. Oof, what's going wrong with Mercedes-Benz in China? Sales of its Chinese-made models plummeted nearly 90% last month. European and U.S. imports helped raise sales by 7%, but that's way behind the overall market. GM sales in China last month, for example, were up 30%. Oh boy, another tidbit of news from Geneva. Fiat officially revealed the 500L, a larger version of the iconic Cinquecento. This MPV with Italian flair is aimed at singles and young families. The 500L is built in Serbia and will be available in Europe in the fourth quarter of the year. Look for it at dealers in the United States sometime in 2013, but probably sourced out of Mexico. Fiat is pulling a page out of the Mini handbook, that is, extend the model range to build a lineup of small cars. We'll see if they can succeed. I think that adding Alfa Romeo will be key. Speaking of icons, the Volkswagen Beetle is one of the most important and recognizable vehicles ever created. But according to the Detroit News, the old-style Beetle taxis in Mexico City, which are still in service, are about to be purged. In 2006, almost half of all taxis in the capital were bugs. About 50,000 of them roamed the streets, polluting the air. Today, only about 3,500 remain. The government is mandating four-door taxis for safety reasons, which means the Beetle is headed for extinction. But still, 2012 is not a bad run for a car that was designed in the 1930s. But who designed it? Was it really Ferdinand Porsche, or did he merely borrow the ideas of a Jewish engineer who was hounded out of Nazi Germany? That's the topic of a book that's just come out, And we'll have the author on Autoline After Hours tomorrow night. So join me and Peter DeLorenzo, the auto extremist, for some of the most interesting discussion in the business. And coming up next, it's time for You Said It.
Reducing exhaust emissions, aerified diesel particulate filters, high filtration, low back pressure, small package size, excellent durability. DowAerify.com.
And now it's time for some of your feedback. MJB saw our report on the latest model from Infiniti at the Geneva show and says, wait a minute, is it me? Or does that Infiniti Emerge E front grille look like a virtual carbon copy of Lexus's new look? MJB, that is exactly what I thought when I saw that grille. C-Tech is not impressed by the My Ford Touch software upgrade. He goes on to say, you need to turn on your car or truck, leave it on for an hour while it updates, and hope it starts up after leaving it on for an hour. By the way, do not leave your car with the keys in it while you go into the house, apartment, or work to do some other tasks, or you may need to update your car insurance. Great point. Ron Paris did not like our initial report on the new Mazda CX-5. That's it, he says? That's what you call a test drive of the CX-5? This is a vehicle I'm dying to learn more about because it's at the top of my might-buy list. Your spot offered absolutely nothing I couldn't glean from Mazda USA's website. Thanks for nothing. Well, Ron, actually, that was a good overview of the vehicle. We can't squeeze everything into this show. We'll have more coming up. But I can tell you this, the CX-5 is a terrific vehicle to drive, probably the best compact SUV on the market right now. Leeboot heard us report on the different states in the U.S. that are enacting legislation to make it legal for autonomous cars, and he asks, don't you think Detroit should allow autonomous cars to be tested and promote more research and technology in cars? Amen, brother, but it's up to the state of Michigan to do that, not the city of Detroit. But I find it immensely annoying that the state with the greatest concentration of automotive researchers and scientists and engineers has not lifted a finger to enact this kind of legislation. Hey, thanks for all your letters and comments. We love reading them. But that brings us to the end of today's report. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.